Over the past week, the IDF and the Israeli Air Force have carried out one of the most powerful and precise operations in modern military history, striking deep inside Iran, destroying nuclear sites, missile launchers, and even taking out key figures in the Iranian regime. Natanz is in ruins. Hundreds of ballistic missile launchers were wiped out. Iran's top commanders and nuclear scientists gone. And word is that Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is so shaken that he's now quietly pushing for a deal. Yes, he wants out. But despite the historic moment where Israel is doing what no other country has dared to do and doing it alone, the price has been high. Our civilians have stood strong. Our nation is united in the fight for freedom and for survival. We've seen destruction and heartbreak, and there is still a road ahead. I'm standing here in Bat Yam, where just days ago, an Iranian ballistic missile aimed at Israel and Israeli civilians struck this residential building right here behind me. 7 people were killed, including 2 children. Over 100 were wounded. Families were shattered. Homes gone. And still, we stand. Still, we fight. Because this is our home, and we will defend it with everything that we've got. But before we dive in, like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help us get the truth out from Israel to the world. We arrived in Bat Yam, an Israeli city that was hit very hard by Iran missiles. And it took me a second to think who launched these missiles, because I was going to say Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, but this time it was Iran. And we're now going to the area of the strike to see firsthand and to show you what this evil regime wanted to do to the whole state of Israel. And thank God they were only able to do it in this location and not to the whole country. It's terrible. It's just a terrible hit. Let's pray for all the families that were harmed, that they'll be comforted. Let's see what's happening here. I'm standing here in Bat Yam at the site of one of the deadliest strikes that we've seen in this war. It was 2:30 in the morning when our phones lit up with emergency calls warning us to take shelter. Minutes later, the air raid sirens followed. Then, the impact. A ballistic missile from Iran slammed into this residential building behind me, collapsing entire floors in seconds. 7 people were killed, including 2 children, and nearly 200 were injured. Families were buried under the rubble while they slept. First responders pulled survivors from the ruins, some after hours of digging. The blast shattered dozens of nearby buildings, 6 of them now marked for demolition. This wasn't an isolated incident. Over the past 5 nights, Iran have launched over 350 ballistic missiles at Israeli cities. At least 24 people have been killed and hundreds wounded. Entire neighborhoods across Tel Aviv, Haifa, Rehovot, Bnei Brak, and more have been hit. Homes, schools, synagogues, gone. Iran's leaders don't go for weapons depots and infrastructure. They ruthlessly target Israeli civilians. We won't be able to sustain this war without the incredible help of the brave men and women who rushed towards danger in this chaos. From Magen David Adom units pulling survivors from the rubble to emergency doctors and hospital teams working around the clock, they are the silent force holding our nation together. Earlier today, I met with one of those heroes. So I'm here with Uri, the international spokesman for Magen David Adom. Uri, we are now at the scene where an Iranian missile launched in the heart of Israel in Bat Yam. Can you explain what happened in that moment?
Yes. In 2:30 in the morning, sirens were heard. Now look around the building. This is a very populated area where families of elderly people as well as young families with small boys had to rush to shelters in a very short time. They had only 90 seconds to get to the shelter. Just about after 2 minutes after the siren was heard, a ballistic missile carrying at least 500 pounds of explosive, and I'm talking about the minimum. It could be more. Just landed here somewhere in the neighborhood. The thing is, those missiles are so fast and they carry so much explosive that it has an environmental implication. Yeah, effect. Exactly. You can see all the buildings are damaged, or some of them are partially destroyed. And this is not because of a direct hit, but because of the blast.
You are part of Magen David Adom, the first responders of Israel. How fast did your teams get here?
Well, one of the biggest advantages of Magen David Adom is that we are embedded into the communities. That means that we have a Magen David Adom station just in this city. Nevertheless, we have our own people in the community. So 2 minutes after the explosion of the missile, we already had Magen David Adom volunteers coming out, describing what they see, and establishing like a primary care points for people to come for them. It's important to stress, when, God forbid, there's a terror attack or even a rocket attack that we experience from Hamas, the scene is very well defined. You have some kind of a site where you can have to treat all the patients. Here, see, this is something that is, the magnitude is much larger. Like, you have to go building after building, knock on doors and see if people are hurt. And this is why they had to establish immediate checking points to concentrate the people.
You just told me that more than the explosion itself, what creates the highest amount of injuries is the blast. Can you maybe share about this?
Yes, ballistic missiles causes, of course, there is the initial explosion, but more seriously is the blast wave. Like an air moving very rapidly, causing the damage that we see around here, but more important, causing damage to internal organs.
Yeah.
That means that somebody can rush from his house, looks without any injuries, without any blood, although he has internal bleeding. And this is a challenge for Magen David Adom teams, because not only they have to locate where are the people that were hurt, they also have to assess them very fast. One more thing. In the initial minutes after the blast, everybody's adrenaline is rushing. So people that might look okay, that might say, listen, I'm good, can suffer internal bleeding and can collapse in a very short time. So this is very challenging. Magen David Adom deployed to this scene only 120 ambulances and 80 support vehicles, motorcycles, a special vehicle with equipment. Now, this is disruption of life. See, people cannot come back to their houses because they are ruined. They have to go and live elsewhere. But I'm not talking only about the damage that happened in this neighborhood. People in Israel are not sleeping for the last week. Okay, I know that sometimes the media says, listen, we are attacking Iran, we have like a highway to Tehran. Please understand, there are millions of Israelis that live in fear, that go to bed every night and wake up 3 or 4 times when the sirens are heard. Yes, there is an alert, but each alert means that you have like a 500-pound missile coming toward you. This creates anxiety. This creates a lot of tensions within the Israeli society. Something that keeps us going is Israel's resilience.
Yes.
People trust the army.
Yeah.
People know that at the end there is hope, because we are creating a situation for, hopefully, for my kids, for my grandkids, they won't have to worry about Iran. And to this extent, we have the United States to support us. And let me tell you, I think that there is no more reassuring to know, that the U.S. got our back covered.
So here at TBN Israel, we are partnering with Magen David Adom for a very long time, basically since this war started. Can you maybe share how does this operation works and how our viewers, especially in the United States, but all over the world, can support Magen David Adom and save lives in Israel?
First, I want to say to each and every one of you, of our viewers, thank you for supporting Magen David Adom and supporting the Holy Land. I'm now speaking as an Israeli, not as an emergency person. My kids sleep better at night because of your partnership with us. And I would ask you to do two things. First of all, be ambassadors. Tell your friends, your family, that there is a national rescue organization in the state of Israel called Magen David Adom, where Jews, Christians, and Muslims work together in order to save lives. The physical distance doesn't mean anything. What means is that you are with your heart with Magen David Adom. So if you want to hear more about Magen David Adom, its life-saving work in the Holy Land in Israel, go to savelifeisrael.com. That's savelifeisrael.com. I want to tell huge thank you for everybody that supports. We cannot be grateful enough, because this partnership builds Israel resilience, and when Israel is more resilient, we can overcome anything, any challenge that we face. Thank you so much. God bless you.
And guys, really, these guys are saving lives. I've been with them in the ambulances, rushing to the areas where people need help. It's Jews together with Christians, with Muslims, with Druze, all together saving lives in Israel. That's the goal. And they need your help because they are 100% operated on donations. So if you want to be part and help Israel in this conflict, go to savelifeisrael.com and support the vital work of Magen David Adom and people like Uri. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, I never saw something like that. Like maybe in Gaza, but not here over in Israel.
This is a civilian neighborhood. This is not like a military base. This is not an intelligence headquarters. This is not a weapons production facilities, which Israel has all this stuff. We have a military, we have defensive facilities, but the Iranians choose to strike us here in the heart of the civilian population because they are a terrorist entity, Tomer.
Wow.
They are funding Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, that, by the way, also threaten us with more missiles and also threaten the United States like they can do something that Iran cannot do. Now, this is the situation that we're living in here. And I don't know, Tomer, they threatened the United States that they will launch more ballistic missiles against ships in the Red Sea, ships of Americans, not just Israelis.
And also bases in the Middle East.
Also bases in the Middle East, so it's, I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting to see what will happen next.
You think it's the end of the Iranian regime right now?
All the heads of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards have been assassinated in recent days. They've been terminated, one after the other. The chain of command in the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps is broken. I expect we receive rockets, maybe between 1 and 10, or maybe 5 rockets every day, and this number will go lower and lower because Israel has air superiority in the skies of Iran. So what does that mean? It means that the planes are there scanning the area, not just striking planes, and whenever a truck with a missile launcher on top of it goes out of their hole somewhere, Israel sees it and destroys it. And that's the last time that this truck can fire a missile at Israel.
What is the difference between those ballistic missiles that the Iranians send and the missile that the Houthis shot?
So the difference is the magnitude of the explosives that the warhead has. So the Houthi missiles are not a warhead with 500 or 1,000 kilograms of explosives attached to it. They are a lot more serious than the Houthis.
What's the size of this warhead?
The warhead had about 500 to even 750 pounds of explosive devices, which created a shock wave that destroyed the balconies even here in this area of the street, far away, not like the direct hit.
So that's why everything looked like all the windows got exploded everywhere?
Yeah, and the hard thing is that it also affects the people. Shockwave is destroying internal organs, creates internal bleeding, and that's why many of the casualties are affected by the shockwave of these sort of missiles.
Oh, wow.
But listen, the more they come attacking us, the stronger and the more united we are.
Yes.
So I'm not afraid, Tomer, and we are here on the ground, boots on the ground, to report to you what's happening in Israel firsthand, no second reports. This is what's happening, and we are here as Israelis, as officers in the IDF, as people of this nation, as Jews, and we will stay here forever. Standing here with this devastating scene behind me, the rubble of homes, the shattered lives, it's impossible to ignore the truth. This is the face of evil, a regime that deliberately targets civilians, that instructs its military to strike families in their sleep. This isn't just a war between nations. This is a battle against the very head of the snake of global terrorism. And it must be stopped, not only for our children, not only for Israel, but for the people of the Middle East, for the people of Iran, who have suffered under this brutal regime for decades, and for every nation living under the shadow of their aggression. We will cut off the head of the snake. And with the courage of our people, with the unity of a nation standing tall, peace will prevail. Not just here, but everywhere that tyranny has ruled for too long. So guys, please pray for our people, the people of Israel. Please pray for the people of Iran. Pray for our brave Israeli Air Force pilots and their teams. May they return home safely. Our hostages are still in Gaza. Pray for them as well. And unite in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem.